Well, I think from that negativity, I want to move over to our favorite segment, our new segment this year, Badass of the Week.
Boom, boom.
It's a little
All
bit
right.
different week. Typically, recently, we've had all sorts of incredible offensive performances with 5 or 6 home runs in a week. OPS is over 1,400 with Christopher Morel last week. This week was a little bit down offensively, but we still had two position players we wanted to highlight, and we definitely have a pitcher we need to highlight here. So I think you've got the stats pulled up over there.
I do. The aforementioned Romy Gonzalez of the White Sox has had 3 home runs, 4 RBIs, 4 runs, 1 stolen base, and a 9.52 OPS.
Yeah, that's why you're specifically why there's so much consternation on what to do when Elvis
Elvis,
Andrews comes back. So yeah, Romy, I made fun of him when he first got called up. I think I called him Rolo Tomasi.
yeah, you did.
Because he was just such a nondescript guy. I'd never heard of him, but he's putting the offensive numbers together, and he's playing solid defense. So it's gonna be hard to get him off that roster at this point.
Yeah, I think it'd be foolish, but hey, it's the White Sox, so wait and see.
Hmm.
Up next, Detroit Tigers, Zach Short. We've got 2 homers, 8 RBIs, 3 runs, 1 stolen base, and a 1.139 OPS. So
Zach Short has been brought up in this podcast before, but I never thought I'd bring him up in the badass of the week. He had an incredible week, including against your White Sox with some key late RBIs. Zach, I only know him because before his Tigers career because he's on the Compound podcast with Ian Happ, and
ah,
we've referenced him multiple times. So they were teammates during the pandemic when they were all with the Cubs. Uh, Short was subsequently traded to the Tigers, but they've kept their relationship, of course, and they're kept their podcast going. It's actually on the John Boy Network. Uh,
oh, cool, yeah.
so it's a fun podcast. It definitely gives you an insider perspective. It works out great for me because it's a Tigers perspective and a Cubs perspective too. But it tells you kind of about the inner workings and the daily lives of major league players, and it's pretty cool. There's been lots of interesting news with all those guys, over the years. So it's cool to see Zach. Kind of. I feel like I've kind of followed him on his journey, and now he's a real contributor to the Tigers, which I never thought of him as more as a utility guy that can pinch hit here and there, play solid defense. But now he's becoming an offensive threat, and it's cool to see. And you hear about his thought process, and specific. They'll go back like next week, whatever the latest podcast is. He'll be talking about this past weekend, what happened, what he was thinking at the time, how it all worked out, and you get some really cool insight. So I would highly recommend, at least for Tigers and Cubs fans or anyone that likes to hear the inner workings of current Major League Baseball players' minds, check out the Compound podcast.
Nice. Yeah, that is a good podcast. I've only listened to it a few times, but it's
Yeah.
freaking solid. You can tell they have fun doing it.
Yeah, there's just a couple dudes, I mean, kind of like us, just with way more credentials, but
way more clout. Yes.
just shooting the shit.
And last but not least, Marcus Stroman, 1 hit complete game shutout against as you point out, the best team record-wise in baseball right now, the Tampa Bay Rays. Yeah, Tampa Bay Rays. 8 Ks and only 1 walk. I think that 1 walk, he sucks. He walked someone. I'm just kidding. But the Rays, I'm just gonna say something for.
You're gonna downplay the Rays. That's interesting.
Well, the Rays have fallen off a bit. Okay. They've fallen back into the middle. They have the same record as the Giants in May.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Yankees had a 19-9 May. Rangers 18-9. Astros 17-9. So they've come back down to earth. Their league. So it's not like they're playing the same team that everyone was playing in April. That's all.
Okay. No, they do still have the best record in baseball.
Yes.
Yeah, to your point, that was built up in early May or early April, throughout April. So I get what you're saying, but
yeah,
I don't think it's too difficult to call them one of the best teams in baseball.
There you go. Thank you. Thank you.
There's my little
caveat. The Tigers have a better May record than the Rays.
No,
So there you
I
go.
wouldn't even have guessed that, but I don't know. We haven't had a pitcher that had a complete game shutout this year, or a complete game even. So I thought that was remarkable. The timing of it couldn't have been more critical, as I mentioned earlier, for the Cubs coming off of a horrendous series sweep loss to the Reds.
Yeah,
With such
it's
a
gonna.
gauntlet coming up with, this is the first game of the Rays series, which you thought was going to be a disaster. And
Yep.
then, like I said, they're on the road now for 10 days and on the West Coast against the Padres, which we'll see. The Angels, I think, who just had a fun time at Sox Park this week, and then your San Francisco Giants ending up the road trip, I believe. So I don't know. I would like. I think the two offensive performances that we're highlighting this week aren't quite up to the level we've been at for most of the season, considering the other players we've been giving it to with Lewis Robert and Christopher Morel, Cody Bellinger several weeks ago. I just think this pitching performance is unmatched. We haven't seen, like I said, a complete game. You never see complete games anymore. The 8 Ks and 1 hit and 1 walk. I forgot about the 1 walk. That's brutal, but what can you do? So what are your thoughts? Where do you want to go with this final?
I was leaning towards Zach Short. I don't disagree with your logic. Did he only pitched once within our week time frame, or you just want to call out this one performance?
It's just this one performance, yeah.
No, this is all he pitched over for Badass of the Week. This is the only performance he had this week.
Correct. Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. All right. I mean, I don't know.
It was Monday.
I'm not gonna like fall on a sword. If I'm fine with making him Marcus Stroman. That'll be good for his trade value at the trade deadline this year if we make a Badass of the Week.
The only issue you might have beyond that is this would be his second Badass of the Week. He'd be the first repeat Badass of the Week we've had this season, or in the history of Badass of the Week. So I don't think that should preclude him from winning again. But
no, he had that incredible fucking run. I mean, no one could deny him Badass of the Week at that point. I mean, that
was when we first started. I think we started like the third week of the season, so we were combining 3 outings for everybody, which there were several great contenders that time. So it was a little bit different at least, but you're not going to fall on your sword. Go ahead.
No, he also had a pretty good outing against the Mets on Wednesday of last week.
I think we included that in because we recorded
was it in the day? Okay, yeah, cool. Yeah, no, I'm fine. It's not like he's pitched bad this year.
Okay. Well, we're talking about this week is all. So it'd be cool to give it to Zach Short, but I think that would look kind of odd by the end of the year that he was a badass of the week with only 2 home runs.
You think he's going to have 2 home runs all year?
I'm not sure. Yeah, that might be it. But he had one hell of a
even
week,
more reason to give it to him.
Should we just give it to? I think you're fighting for. I like it. All right, that's fine. I'm kind of shocked that we're not going to give a complete game shutout pitcher that our badass league, but let's do it. It's our fucking podcast. We can do whatever we want.
We're going to put the Detroit Tigers hat for Christ's sake.
I know you're fighting harder than I am. So, all right, we're doing it. Zach Short, you are our badass of the week.
Yeah, Zach, keep it up, buddy. Just not this weekend.
Yeah, look what you did. He's gonna be full of confidence now. He's a reigning badass of the week, marching into Chicago.
I'm just using this to set up commentary for next week when he goes like 0 for 17 this weekend or something. You son of a bitch. You son of a bitch.
Well played by you.
Word Hole Media.